The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
I get that the Canucks got to ask for the most for Kiefer Sherwood, but even this seems a little unrealistic.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Locked On Canucks. My name is Trevor Beggs, sports reporter for Daily Hive, joined as always by my co-host Kyle Bhawan. This episode is brought to you by Gametime. Go download the Gametime app now. Get $20 off your first purchase by using code LOCKEDONNHL. Look at this, Kyle. Kiefer Sherwood, the best Canucks player this season, according to some. But he's gone on a bit of a tailspin lately. At least the offense hasn't been there ever since, the Canucks put out that memo. And not only that, Kiefer Sherwood, again, a bit of an offensive slump. But now the Canucks are asking for the most for him. So let's get into those reports. We'll also get into the Quinn Hughes situation becoming real. I was in the room beside Quinn Hughes answering those questions on Saturday night. We'll also touch on GOATs of the week as well. But Kyle, apparently the Vancouver Canucks, and this is coming from Michael Russo and the Minnesota Wild over at the Athletic. Apparently the Wild did offer the Canucks a good young player / prospect for Kiefer Sherwood. We could dig into who that might be. But now the Canucks apparently don't want that. Apparently they want a first-round pick and a good roster player. Kyle, I know there's 31 teams. There's 31 general managers out there. Someone could do it. But do you think the Canucks could actually get a first-round pick and a good roster player for Kiefer Sherwood?
To be honest, hell no. There's no chance of that. There's no chance of that. To me, it's like one or the other. And if it's like the other, like the roster player, maybe it's like a third-round pick with the roster player, second-round pick. I know times have changed and inflation is a thing. And maybe I'm not doing my homework, and there have been moments where more often than not, trades like this do happen where it is a first and a good player for, a guy that has a career high of 19 goals, and that happened last year. Again, we talked about the Blake Colemans and the Barclay Goodrows of the world, but I don't know, man. Maybe it's like Canucks pessimism telling me that's impossible, but I just feel like that right now is impossible. And I don't even, if Kiefer Sherwood was scoring more goals in his last 8 games, maybe I'd be like, hell yeah. But right now, it's an 8-game goalless streak. And is that a rare thing for Kiefer Sherwood? No, it isn't. He's Kiefer Sherwood at the end of the day. All that being said, maybe the scouts have been watching recent games, and I know he's not the most perfect player defensively, but the guy still gets a lot of chances. He's still a unicorn. He's still a really good player. He's still a player that I want on this team. Or if you're building a championship, you want on your team, but isn't it just one or the other? It's not both. It's not like good young prospect in a first. It's not good roster player in a first. It's like, okay, I have a first. And to be honest, Trevor, this is another one of those instances where I'm like, you want Kiefer Sherwood and I want a first. I would be okay with the Wild giving up a 2028 first or 2027 first. No, for real. For real. Maybe if they want to get both done, that's the way to do it. Give me the young player and then give me a 2028 first.
Yeah. I mean, I like the idea as well of, taking dart throws in later drafts, predicting what teams might fall out of the race, and the Minnesota Wild being mid forever. There's a chance that they could be one of those teams, right? Where you're betting on the team not being as good in 27 or 28 as opposed to getting a pick in this draft. I just don't see the accolades signing off on something like that.
Okay, Trevor, let's be honest though. You're once a dreamer, and it is the holidays. I'm sure there was a time in your life where, you probably didn't think you were getting what you wanted for Christmas, but you still got it, right? I hope my girlfriend's listening to this. I want a PS5 for Christmas. I want a PS, straight up. I want 3 controllers. I don't even need 3 controllers. I want it all. And I still might get it. So you never know. You never know.
Part of me is wondering too, Kyle, because this report's coming from Michael Russo, the Athletic, cover the Minnesota Wild. I wonder if the Vancouver Canucks are asking for a higher price from the Wild after what transpired with Marco Rossi in the offseason, where Again, like they basically had packages on the table. Like the report from Michael Russo was that the Canucks offered Atu Ratu, the 15th overall pick, and Artur Shilovs for Marco Rossi, and the Wild still said no. Because we were hearing before that it was really just the first rounder, and there was some other rumblings going on, but that's probably a somewhat fair price for Marco Rossi, and the Wild still said no. So maybe the Canucks are saying, "Screw you! You can give us a first and a roster player for Kiefer Sherwood." I'm really curious which young player got offered by the Wild, because every day is no. I've said it on the show before. I'm really interested in Liam Ogren from the Minnesota Wild, right? Same draft as Jonathan Lecker-Mackey. Jonathan Lecker-Mackey's old line mate in Djurgårdens and the World Junior team. I'm curious if that could have been the player. My thought is it's more like a Hunter height or a Riley height, because Bill Gary seems like his guys with truculence. He's from the Brian Burke tree there.
Yeah.
And Riley Height are two undersized, skilled young players who have a chance to pop off in the NHL, but they're not sure bets either. So, Kyle, if the trade was just a straight up Liam Ogren for Kiefer Sherwood, is that something that you'd be happy with? Like a first round pick from 2022 who's now in the NHL, even if he's not making a huge impact? Would you be okay with that kind of trade for Kiefer Sherwood?
It would be what's the word I'm looking for? Dishonest of me to give a concrete answer about that, because I barely watched that player. But in theory, let's just break it down like that, right? Let's say it's a first round pick from 2022 for Kiefer Sherwood. So a 21-year-old or a 20-year-old, right? Whatever the math is, 21, I guess, 21. To me, it still screams like reclamation project, because why is the team giving up that for? Again, Kiefer Sherwood he's a unicorn. I get it. He's a really, really, really good player, but I think I'd much rather just have futures. Like, give me the I don't know, the first round pick again. Like I said, in 2028, give me another player outside of the guy that you're just giving up on after he's not doing much for your team. That's just the way I look at it, because I'm kind of, as a Canucks fan, I'm just tired of these guys. These Danica guys. It's like, well, if we keep doing that, why do we just keep Podkolzin? And I know he's probably not doing much too, but you know what I'm saying? So I just rather have futures, bro. And if the Canucks can leverage Kiefer Sherwood into a 2027 first round pick, a 2028 first round pick, right? Think that deeply. I feel like you're cooking then. You're cooking, because you're going to use that pick, or maybe next year, or it's what would the math be? Maybe it's September of 2027, right? And you have that 2028 Minnesota Wild first round pick, and you don't know if Minnesota is going to be bad or not, but let's say you want to fix a gap and you want to take the next step. Now you have more assets to play with, because you signed Kiefer Sherwood to a deal worth $1.5 million not that long ago, and now you have this valuable asset, a first round pick, to flip into something bigger. Instead of again flipping him for a guy that's not working out, because chances are, if he's not working out in Minnesota, I don't know, is he going to work out here? I don't think so. I'm thinking ahead. I'm thinking in the future, Trevor.
Yeah, and look, the Canucks, I think, have a pretty valuable opportunity here, right? We're staring in the abyss of something pretty miserable in this market, which is losing Quinn Hughes. But you could look at trade chips like Kiefer Sherwood, Connor Garland, and Quinn Hughes and say, you could probably get 4 first-round picks out of that. I know you're even shooting for higher with Quinn Hughes in general, Kyle.
Yeah.
Maybe it's 5 first-round picks, right? If you trade those 3 players. You could really do something to accelerate things and put yourself in a position to get a really exciting young core for this hockey team moving forward. So again, man, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm scared of what this regime might do in terms of just trying to accelerate things and move things forward the same way that it's always been done in this market. And the report today that they want a first and a good roster player, screw the roster player. Why does that matter? Just get the assets. Just get the futures.
Get the most. What if the roster player, if it's stalling the trade, then sure, I understand your angst, Trevor. But maybe they can get the roster player too, and then flip that guy later. I don't know. At the end of the day, Trevor, like let's give credit where credit is due. If it is true that the Canucks are putting a high value on their players, like setting the market, it's aggressive and it's trend setting in my opinion. Like that's what you want from your management group. Just ask for the most, but at the same time, if you're asking for the most, just make sure you're putting Kiefer Sherwood in situations to succeed. Now, he had a really good game on Saturday. I think him and Ratu have always had a little bit of something going on. Like, they have like, I'm not going to say similar energy because Ratu is kind of more even keel, but there's a lot of personality to him. There is. I don't know. You probably met him a couple nights ago.
Yeah, articulate, smart young guy.
He's got some of that sauce with him, and you see the way they celebrate together too. But at the end of the day, it's like just make sure you keep doing that. Like give him opportunities. Like I don't know how long Pettersson's going to be gone for. We'll find out in a couple hours. But I would even do that again. Like as soon as Pettersson's back in the lineup, if you're trading Sherwood, make sure you're giving him all the opportunities. Put him on the power play, right? More so than Evander Kane, right? And we'll get into all of this very soon. But the fact that Quinn Hughes, like straight up, it's Operation Sell everyone on this team because the fact that Quinn Hughes is calling the New Jersey Devils general manager by his nickname instead of like maybe using that opportunity to when asked about the Elliot Friedman report, not tell the fan base, I don't want to go anywhere. It's telling like this season's over. This core is over. Like Canucks fans, you can say what you want. You got to keep Quinn. That guy's checked out because you want your leader. And again, I always say this. It's not about maybe he's disgruntled with the media. Maybe he's stressed out. Maybe like, dude, do it for the kids. Tell all the Canucks fans that love you because like you're the coolest player in the world. Tell them that you're going to stay here. Like, I don't care about these reports. I'm ignoring the reports. Like, I want to be here. But the fact that he didn't say that, I'm telling you, it's sell the ship. So if that is the truth, like you're selling the season, you're selling everyone. Please do not play Evander Kane more than Kiefer Sherwood. No, straight up. Like give Sherwood, like you got to think like that, Trevor. Right? I know these are human beings, but right now they're assets, and you gotta prop these assets up and give them their best moments to shine. So just moving forward this season, give Kiefer Sherwood all the rope. If again, Trevor, you're asking for this much.
Yeah. Hey, I'm all on team. Let's elevate the trade value of our trade assets. And, right now, Evander Kane, you could get something for him too, right? But I see your point. Like, play Kiefer Sherwood, play Connor Garland the most. They were listening to that on Saturday night with Elias Pettersson at the lineup. Yeah. Connor Garland really racked up the minutes. But Garland, Sherwood, Kane, these are all trade assets. You should play them like such. Kyle, you touched on Quinn Hughes. So let's touch more about Quinn Hughes on the other side. Of course, everyone knows about the report. I'll tell you my thoughts and feelings from being in the locker room beside him on Saturday night. That's all coming up next here on Locked On Canucks. All right, before we get back to it, let's shout out our friends over at Gametime, baby. You know the deal. If you're buying tickets, you got to go check out Gametime. And, we're hockey first here, of course, on Locked On Canucks. I'm football second. But how about the European football? The World Cup coming back to North America for the first time since 1994. Coming to our city here in Vancouver as well. Mohamed Salah coming to BC Place, baby. A lot of people say we got shafted with the World Cup draw, and there's probably a point there, but Mohamed Salah, still one of the biggest soccer stars in the world. You can see him at BC Place. If you want to find the tickets, go check out Gametime. I mean, especially with that FIFA World Cup ticket draw, it's been a bit of a mess. But if you're looking for tickets on the secondhand market, go check out Gametime. The app makes it so damn easy to use. And what's more important than that is that they got the lowest price guarantee, baby. Let's go. So take the guesswork out of buying World Cup tickets with Gametime. Every match, concert, or event. Check them all out with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, download the app, make an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. It's Gametime, baby. All right, let's shout out our friends over at Doer. Do the Doer, baby, because the holidays are here, and this year, I'm not stressing out about what to wear or what to buy because I'll be wearing my Doers, and I'll be buying Doers for the people I love because I want the people I love to look sexy and feel comfortable, baby. And Doer, they do all of that, okay? Whether it's shirts, jeans, pants, Doer's got it all, and you can wear Doer everywhere, okay? Because it's sexy and comfortable. You can wear them at home. You can wear them out. Just do the Doer all day long, baby. and it's time for you to experience the comfort of Doer yourself. I know you're going to love it. Pick up some Doer jeans for yourself, some shirts for yourself, or buy them as an amazing holiday gift. You can also check out Doer here in Vancouver at 1757 West 4th Avenue. Mention our promo code Locked On Canucks in store to get 15% off your first order, or check them out online at duer.ca/Locked On Canucks for 15% off. That's doer.ca/Locked On Canucks.
Okay, we back doing this, talking about your Vancouver Canucks. My name's Kyle Bhawan. That right there is the second best dad in the world. Trevor, Beggsy, how was the weekend, man? How was life? How's the wife? How's the kids? The holidays around the corner. You got the Christmas tree set up, right?
Of course, man. Yeah, we went Christmas tree shopping, I don't know, 2 weeks ago now. So that's all set up and ready to go.
2 weeks
Yeah.
ago. You did your Christmas. You set up your Christmas tree at like November 24th? November 25th?
Yeah, that sounds right. I think it was November 23rd because it was November 23rd it went up.
What the?
Yeah, when you're paying for a real tree, man, and I never did this. I was always an artificial tree guy growing up. When you're paying for the real tree, you better get the most out of it, man. Come on.
Yeah, but it smells so good though. I like the real tree. The real tree does something, you know?
Yeah, it covers up my natural stench, man. So it's not a bad thing, that's for sure. Weekend was good, man. Like my Saturday was a little crazy. You know, I'm working for Daily Hive on Saturday, getting up, writing in the morning after being out late. Man, we were doing the podcast at like midnight. I was up at 6 a.m. writing Canucks World Cup draw, MLS Cups. I was writing one of my MLS Cup recap article in a subway because I had to go to a Christmas kids party for my wife's work. And I went straight from there to write more articles about Muller and write about the Quinn Hughes drama and then get to the rink. So, yeah, man, it was Saturday was a busy day. So I did nothing, but I don't think I took the PJs off yesterday, man. Just
That's it.
laying low, man.
Well, speaking about laying low, like let's actually run this segment before we talk about Quinn Hughes joining the Illuminati.
I thought this was a Canucks show.
He thought this was a Canucks show.
Okay, this is the part of the show on What the Puck when we don't really talk about the Canucks. Just give us a couple minutes and we'll get back to again talking about Quinn Hughes. One love to the Vancouver Whitecaps. One love to Thomas Muller and company. They finished second place. And to be honest, I was a little hurt because I spent my Saturday watching that game with the Fam Jam. It was an event, you know. We had the food going, the drinks were flowing, all that stuff. I'm like, yeah, you know, go Vancouver, go. And once again, I'm the biggest loser in the world. Straight up, I feel like I cursed the Vancouver Whitecaps. All in all, though, Trevor, I will say I saw Thomas Muller's interview with Farhan Lalji. Am I saying that right? I think so. After the game, and I just love what he said. I loved how he admitted that the game slipped away from him. And again, this is not a soccer show. I'm not going to break it down. Just based on my eye test, I kind of understood what Thomas Muller was saying, though, and I just love the accountability, man. Like you could tell this guy wants to win so bad, so much so that he's open, to telling the whole world that, yeah, we let this one slip. Like this was ours. We had it. We were the better team, and they should be champions.
Yeah, and look at this guy doing all the media too after a loss. I know Messi didn't even come out and do media after the win. But I guess
sorry, that makes the MLS look like a joke. Like.
Yeah, crazy, man. But I mean, Muller's an interviewer's dream as well, right? I mean, Lalji asked him one question, he goes off for like 90 seconds talking about the game and the team and the future. It's like, damn, okay, man. Yeah, he's definitely an interviewer's dream. But look, man, it's just such an ambassador for the city, and I know a lot of soccer fans, they have their opinions about whether they like Muller or not. But I mean, most people in the city are really coming around on Thomas Muller. Again, posting selfie videos after every game, being accountable in the media, going to bars and drinking with fans, and like just like everything you could ask for from one of the biggest sports stars to ever play in this city. It's just been incredible, man. And yeah, you'd wish that, the Stars and the Canucks would do the same, right? Much like the Sedins did back in the day, although I'm not sure they were at the bar drinking with fans. But I mean, that kind of brings us to Quinn Hughes as well, right? And again, I'm in the scrum there on Saturday. It was Thomas Drance asked the question about the trade rumors and what he thought of them. And for me, like when he called Fitzgerald Fitzy, that really stood out to me. Now, shout out to the Discord. I was like, is there a family connection? I feel like the Hugheses might have known Tom Fitzgerald, and sure enough, looks like Jim Hughes played with Tom Fitzgerald, so they are family friends. But you're also still talking to Vancouver media and Vancouver fans, and you're out there just calling him Fitzy. To me, it screamed the inevitable, right? You get the report from Freeman, you get Hughes out there calling Tom Fitzgerald Fitzy and saying, yeah, talks to these could for sure happen. He doesn't seem to be shying away from it, which is interesting because he's one of the most media trained guys out there, right? Like all these players get media training, but Quinn Hughes for sure sticks to the book with the answers a lot of the time, especially when he's in scrums like that. And yeah, it just seems like what Elliot Friedman's saying, and he's the most respected insider of the game, is true. Quinn Hughes' body language says the same thing. You know, I saw people commenting how everyone was kind of giving Nikita Tolopilo like, you know, some words of encouragement or just like, good job, bud. His first win after becoming a dad. And he talked to us post-game about how crazy of a week that was. Leaving the team, his wife gives birth, and then all of a sudden he's in there, you know, a few days after that's all happened, getting a win for the Canucks. Pretty much everyone after the game like said something to him, and Quinn Hughes didn't. It's just all these little things, man, that it does seem like a player, even though he's often out there looking like the most talented guy on the ice, it doesn't feel like his heart's really in it.
Yeah. It's the truth. Like, if I'm not going to say it's selfish, but I kind of am, based on the fact that, again, once again, like a member of this core that we've followed for like 6 or 7 years doesn't have the heart. And, you know, you got to credit honesty, but at the end of the day, it would be nice to hear one of the players, I don't want to say rave about being a Vancouver Canuck, because that's kind of a hard thing to do when you're the worst team in the league. But Trevor, you know what I'm saying? Just put the smile on. I want to be here. Like, because like when I saw his response, and maybe I didn't watch the whole clip, maybe like before he did say something amongst those lines. Did he, Trevor, in the scrum? Did he ever say, I want to stay in Vancouver? I want to be a Vancouver Canuck?
No, he did not say that. No.
So this is why I keep saying, right? Make this trade happen ASAP before the guy who plays 30 minutes a game gets hurt again. That's the way it is. Because if you're not in it for the long run, you're checked out. And sure, it's about staying in the moment, one game at a time, one shift at a time. It's never that deep. No, it's that deep. You're the captain. You're one of the best players in the league. You play for a Canadian market. We've had all this scrutiny. Like, a part of me like was always holding on to the hope that you would get that from Quinn. Like, no, I just want to stay here. This is it. I want to finish the job. Dude, this guy's out of here. He's waiting to be moved. And, you know, with the reports coming out from Elliot Friedman today saying that, like, I think I'm paraphrasing just a little bit, Trevor, confirm it for me, please. But that Detroit and Vancouver have a deal to be made. There's a deal to be made there. If I'm Jim Rutherford and Patrick Alvin, again, I hope you're listening to this, but obviously get the most for him. Like, I've been saying it for a long time. Get the absolute most. Set the trade market for any type of trade like this. You know, when they talk about the Connor McDavid trade a couple years from now, like when they look back at like how to make that trade, it's like, oh, the Canucks got that guy and 4 first-round picks for Quinn. Like, that's like the base. Set the tone now and do so now, because this guy, he may get hurt. And I'm not trying to put that on anyone, but Quinn Hughes is kind of injury prone and he plays a lot of hockey. So if he's not telling the fans, the kids, you know, that he wants to stay here, and he's open as being the captain, calling the other GM by his nickname because they're family friends or what, it just, dude, it's off. It is off. Okay, for real. That's not good enough from your captain. That is just the truth. That's some immaturity. No, that is. And you want the transparency from your guys. But the fact that he's dancing around it, but not dancing around it to the point where he's able to touch on the positives, or not the positives, but like an outcome where he is like a Canuck, like Johnny Canuck, the captain, it's an embarrassment. It's not a good look in his leadership. Because at the end of the day, Trevor, you're the captain of this team. You're 4 games under 500. You're probably 7 points out of a playoff spot, 8 points out of a playoff spot. It's not mission impossible. The NHL, it's mid right now. Like, How about you just double down on being the captain of the Canucks and not worry about your future when you got a year and a half left on your contract? So you maybe give the room a vote of confidence. Like if I'm a Canucks fan and I hear my captains talking like that about a potential trade rumor when they're 29 games into the season, when you're 7 points out of a playoff spot, whatever the number is, dude, I'm never buying a ticket to the Canucks again this season. Because that just sets the tone for the rest of the room that this season don't matter. And that's coming from your captain 29 games into the season. And then you wonder why this team's never been able to win with this core. Every single one of those guys, Miller, Horvat, Besser, Demko, Quinn Hughes, those guys are not alphas. They're not leaders. They're losers. No, they are. They let the noise get to them. Champions do not let the noise get to them. They don't have it. And that's, it's not a surprise that this team loses. And, if you're a Canucks fan listening to this, I promise you, things will get better. Post Quinn Hughes, post losing the best player in franchise history, I'm telling you right now, this will get better. It's not a high bar to get over because we've sucked for a long time, but be happy that things will get better because these guys obviously can't get it done. And the nail was in the coffin on Saturday. It was. You're 4 games under 500. You're 7 points out of a playoff spot. Your coach a couple days ago was like, I'm not worried. We're 6 points out. I like that, even though I want this team to rebuild. But the fact that the captain's like, I don't know what that. You know what? Just what? Like, why? Come on, man. That was a disgrace, man. I was very disappointed in Quinn Hughes this Saturday. I know he's human and he's tired of losing and all that. You're the captain of the Vancouver Canucks. That's a disgrace. That's a disgrace. Like you just saw Tom Melander, Atu Ratu do their thing, DPD. You have a guy in net, Tolopilo, Tyrannosaurus Rex. That guy just like coming out of nowhere, balling out since he got brought up. And that's how your captain responds to trade rumors. It's a disgrace, man.
Yeah, it was the question had to be asked, and I think the response said a lot, to be honest. And I'll say this before we wrap up and get to the other side, but I think what's been forgotten, you talk about the losing culture in Vancouver. You want players in Vancouver that are proud to wear the Canucks jersey, that want that crest on their jersey, that know what it means to be a Vancouver Canuck. And I just think that's lost with almost everyone on this team right now. And like I said, Kyle, maybe once Quinn Hughes is gone and this organization resets, maybe, just maybe, that identity will come back. Let's show the other side. I'm going to end on a positive note here with Goats of the Week. I know Kyle's like, Goats of the Week. Who the F cares? No, man, this is interesting stuff, man. Let's get to the other side here on Locked On Canucks. All right, before we get back to the show, let's shout out our friends over at FanDuel, baby. NFL Sundays move fast. One big play and suddenly everything feels different. That's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. And when I'm betting on sports, FanDuel is the place that I go to, baby. And I just keep dreaming about the Seahawks winning the Super Bowl, man, making things better for my life being a Vancouver Canucks fan. But man, oh man, look at this, Kyle. You want to know something crazy? You want something crazy here? Here are the NFL FanDuel NFL Super Bowl betting odds. Number 1, the LA Rams, plus 430. Number 2, tied for second. It's the Seahawks and the Packers, both plus 800 to win the Super Bowl. And Kyle, I was standings watching last night, and look, I think the Rams are going to win the division. But I still think there's a chance for us to meet in the playoffs at some point here, whether it's in the divisional round or the NFC Championship. Man, I'm still dreaming of that.
Yeah. Bro, you never know though. You never know. Like you guys still may win the division. Like it's 4 weeks left in the season, bro. Like
yeah, we got a game against the Rams and a game against the Niners, so it's in the Seahawks' control. But they have typically lost to both those teams.
How are the Niners 9-4? Like what an incredible coaching job.
Yeah.
From Shanahan, because dude, like trust me, I'm looking at a lot of teams in the AFC and NFC. I'm like, how does that team have 8 wins? How does the Panthers have 7 wins? I did the same thing with like San Fran. I'm like, they're 9-4. Crazy.
It's a crazy time. When you're betting on sports, make sure you go check out FanDuel, baby. Go to FanDuel.com or download the FanDuel app today.
Boom, bam, boom, bam, boom. Okay, we back doing this, talking about your Vancouver Canucks. My name's Kyle Bhawan. That right there is Trevor Beggs. One love to the Don't Doze Art Lab for giving us a place to give you that West Coast bias. Yo, hit the links in the bio. Join the Discord. Also, we're making a children's book. There is some Canucks relations to that book. Like I think I named a character. No, I definitely did name a character after a Canucks player, but that may have to change because that guy don't even care, man. Anyways, comments. La Primo was saying he is spitting facts, or he is spitting right now. He's spitting facts. I think he's going, he's connecting it to the little spiel I had about Quinn Hughes. And Trevor, like, again, at the end of the day, I'm an emotional guy. You know, I say a lot of things. I'm all over the place with this team. And I'm just like a little sick and tired that the Canucks players, they stoop down to, like, not stoop down, but they like, they get to the same level as like the media and the fans when it comes to their emotions. You know what I'm saying? Just like set the standard, raise the standard, because I feel like again, we're all human and it's all connected. And maybe Quinn Hughes is reading the wrong books. Maybe he's just, he's too connected right now. But just like enough's enough. Have some thick skin. Come on, guys. Come on.
Yeah, no, everything you said there, I couldn't argue with any of it, right? It was, you are emotional, yes, but it's hard to argue with anything you said, right? It doesn't seem like the players on this team care about being a Vancouver Canuck or want to wear the crest or play like a team even, right? But you know who is performing, Kyle? Let's touch on it in Goats of the Week. All right, Goats of the Week, where we go through the 5 best Canucks of the last week. And did I upload it, Kyle? Let me check this out. This is basically going to sum up Goats of the Week right here. But these were the scoring leaders for the Canucks over their 3 games in the last week. Aatu Räty, Linus Karlsson, Steve Baines, and Tom Olander. Those are the only 4 Canucks to have more than a point last week. Abbotsford, man, and Nikita Tolopilo, the only goaltender to win a game last week for the Vancouver Canucks. It was an Abbotsford takeover for the Vancouver Canucks last week. And I know they missed Pettersson for a game. And I don't know, just on Saturday night alone, there was, I think, 8 Abbotsford Canucks either this season or last season who were in the lineup last night, right? The 3 guys I mentioned, and there's Max Hassan, obviously DPD as well. But man, oh man, it seemed to me like my big takeaway from Saturday night was the guys who cared or the young guys on this team, right? Like Aatu Räty, probably he got robbed of a hat trick. Like that first goal should not have been called a kick-in goal, deflecting off the side of his skate. But not to be deterred after, having 2 goals called back against him in the past week. He scores 2 more in that game. He is my number 1 goat of the week. A guy who deserves more ice time, Kyle. We talked about it after the Utah game on Friday, and especially after the Minnesota game on Saturday. It was still David Kampf played 18 minutes with Elias Pettersson out of the lineup. It's like Aatu Räty is definitely a superior player to David Kampf. I get that David Kampf's a veteran and blah, blah, blah. At least play the guys who deserve the ice time, though, Kyle. And Aatu Räty, again, his first placement as the number 1 goat of the week for your Vancouver Canucks.
Yeah, I'm proud of him, and I've always liked the player. I've always liked his effort, and he's getting rewarded right now, especially in the last week after being scratched and whatnot. That's also another good sign too, Trevor. Doesn't take it personally. I'm pretty sure if Quinn Hughes got scratched, he would take it personally. So I'm happy that Aatu Räty is able to bounce back like that. So good for him.
Yeah. I'll rip through the rest here. I got Linus Karlsson at number 2. He gets a goal and an assist. Nice assist for Tom Olander's first career NHL goal. Also got the promotion to the top line for Friday night as well, alongside Elias Pettersson. He's had a great run of late. Tom Olander's my number 3 goat of the week. Just a steadying presence out there. He actually looked good with DPD, which on Saturday night, which hasn't happened much. DPD has struggled, as we all know, this season. Number 4, I got Steve Baines. I know a lot of Steve Baines haters aren't going to like that, but he had a goal and an assist. I know he was playing limited minutes, but he made the most of his ice time. It's hard to say that about any other Canuck in the past week. And number 5, I got the new dad with the new dad energy, Nikita Tolopilo. As he said at postgame on Saturday night, he's got more to play for now that his daughter has been born. So I love that, man. And you gotta touch on the good stories too, Kyle, because there's been a lot of mediocrity, a lot of shitty storylines in this market. But all 5 of those guys that I just mentioned have varying degrees of positivity associated with their names here.
Yeah. Go Abbotsford Canucks, go. What a time. Okay, let's get to one comment and get out of here, man. Go Canucks, go. We have a game tonight, right? Yeah, we do. Andrew, one love to Andrew, asking if Aatu Ratu's a stud. Why don't we just end it off on this? And I haven't looked at Marco Rossi's game this year, but how happy are you that the Canucks didn't make that trade? Now looking at it, this team is weak down the middle, and they would have traded Braden Coots, who just made the 27-man roster for the World Hockey Junior Championships or whatever, the TSN Cup. TSN writing AI articles too. Come on. Anyways, we don't have all the time for that. It would have been Braden Coots, Aatu Ratu, and Archer Shilovs for Marco Rossi. I know you touched on it a little bit, but yeah, I know Ratu has a lot of room to grow, but the fact that he's still 60% at the dot, almost, he must be there. I think he won 90% of his draws on Saturday. I know he was just a healthy scratch last week, but I feel like there is room for Ratu to hit a similar ceiling to Marco Rossi, for real. In a different way, offensively, maybe not.
Yeah.
Offensively, but impact-wise, maybe. Maybe he's not the 60-point guy, but maybe he's the 45-point guy who's winning 60% of his drives.
Yeah, I still think the absolute ceiling for Aatu Ratu would be a player like Anton Lundell. That's too high to be fair. Yeah. That guy's really filled in for the Panthers this year as they've been, missing Barkov and all that stuff. But I can see Aatu Ratu as a really elite third line center who can get you kind of 30 to 40 points, be great defensively. I think the speed's always going to be a bit of a hindrance. I don't think he's a great playmaker, but he's got a great shot. He's great defensively, and he's great in the faceoff dot. So I think you're looking at a really, really solid third line center is probably the peak for Aatu Ratu. On this team, he should be the second line center, and heck, he should be the first line center right now with Elias Pettersson out of the lineup. But on a good team, I think that's really where he fits in as an elite third line center. And he's certainly trending towards that right now, Kyle. I think he's proven even this season that he can be a third line center in the NHL. So let's take it, man. Moral victory season, maybe more moral victories tonight here on Locked On Canucks as the Canucks take on the Red Wings. I'll have you covered for a postcast tonight. But for now, one love to you and you and you for tuning into Locked On Canucks. If you like what we're doing, subscribe to the show on YouTube. You can hit the like button as well. Helps it a lot. On the podcast, go follow us. Leave a 5-star review. I'm Trevor Beggs. That guy's Cal Bhawan, and you've been listening to Locked On Canucks.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.